Near the front of an audience of nearly 1,000 attendees, she took off one shoe and threw it at Clinton.
I appreciate most of those attacks were after the attack on the facility in Benghazi. You mentioned Cairo. It was interesting what else Ms. Nuland said that day. She said, if pressed by the press, if there's a connection between Cairo and Benghazi, she said this: there's no connection between the two. So here's what troubles me. Your experts knew the truth. Your spokesperson knew the truth. Greg Hicks knew the truth. But what troubles me more is I think you knew the truth. I want to show you a few things here. You're looking at an email you sent to your family. Here's what you said. At 11 o'clock that night, approximately 1 hour after you told the American people it was a video, you say to your family, 2 officers were killed today in Benghazi by an al-Qaeda-like group. You tell the American people one thing, you tell your family an entirely different story. Also, on the night of the attack, you had a call with the president of Libya. Here's what you said to him. Ansar al-Sharia is claiming responsibility. It's interesting, Mr. Khattala, one of the guys arrested and charged, actually belonged to that group. And finally, and most significantly, the next day, within 24 hours, you had a conversation with the Egyptian Prime Minister. You told him this: we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest. Let me read that one more time. We know, not we think, not it might be, we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest. State Department experts knew the truth. You knew the truth. But that's not what the American people got.
Payne's slogan is, I'm with her. You know what my response is to that? I'm with you, the American people.
I expected this out of John McCain. But I've got to say, I'm a little disappointed when I start hearing the exact same talking points coming out of my Democratic colleague, Hillary Clinton. She knows better. She knows better. Shame on her. Shame on her. She knows better. Huh. She's running around talking about how this is an insult to sportsmen. How she values the Second Amendment. She's talking like she's Annie Oakley. Hillary Clinton's out there, you know, like she's out in the duck blind every Sunday. She's packing a 6-shooter. Come on. She knows better. That's some politics being played by Hillary Clinton.
Here is a quote from the book. At the center of U.S. policy toward China was Hillary Clinton. At this critical time for U.S.-China relations, Bill Clinton gave her a number of speeches that were underwritten by the Chinese government and its supporters. These funds were paid to the Clintons' bank account directly while Hillary was negotiating with China on behalf of the United States. Tell me, folks, does that work?
A lot of people don't realize that the industry that gave the most money to Washington over the past few years was not the oil industry, was not pharmaceuticals. It was consumer credit products. Those are the people, the credit card companies have been giving money, and they have influence.
And Mrs. Clinton was one of them, as senator. Yeah.
She has taken money from the groups, and more to the point, she worries about them as a constituency.
Development and acquisitions for the Trump Organization and the son of presidential candidate Donald Trump. So this is the shape of the general election rhetoric. Your dad calls her Crooked Hillary, and you can feel that she's trying to label him as well. Dangerous Donald Trump, loose cannon Donald Trump.
You know, I see that little clip, and I literally cringe. Her foreign policy has literally cost this country trillions of dollars, thousands of lives. My wife and I watched 13 Hours this weekend, right? And I was livid after watching the movie. I think in order to vote in this next election, you should have to watch that movie. I was livid. She left these guys on a rooftop in the middle in Benghazi, you know, getting shot at, having mortars drop on their head because she wouldn't pick up a phone call in the middle of the night.
Her basic view about this election is that the say anything, do anything, special interest driven politics of Washington, that's how it's got to be. That's how the game is played. And so you should elect her to be your nominee because she's been in Washington longer and she knows how to play the game better. Now, that's the argument.
I just learned that Crooked Hillary, along with her friend, you know, she's got this goofy friend named Elizabeth Warren. She's on her Twitter rant. She's a goofus. She is a goofus. So, Elizabeth, you ever see her? I mean, this woman, she's a basket case. By the way, she's done nothing in the United States Senate. She's done nothing. I'd love to run against her if I came from Massachusetts. You know, I did great in Massachusetts. I won Massachusetts with almost 50% of the vote. Now, it helped, in all fairness, that Tom Brady likes me, right? That helped, okay?
I am very glad, Anderson, that Secretary Clinton has discovered religion on this issue. But it's a little bit too late. Secretary Clinton supported virtually every one of these disastrous trade agreements written by corporate America.
I voted to save the auto industry. He voted against the money that ended up saving the auto industry. I think that is a pretty big difference.
Well, if you are talking about the Wall Street bailout, where some of your friends destroyed this economy,
you know,
excuse me, I'm talking.
Let him sprung.
What I said is that Ronald Reagan was a transformative political figure because he was able to get Democrats to vote against their economic interests to form a majority to push through their agenda, an agenda that I objected to because while I was working on those streets, watching those folks see their jobs shipped overseas, you were a corporate lawyer sitting on the board of Walmart. I was fighting these fights. So, but I want to be clear.
What for you exactly is she guilty of?
She is guilty of